Hi and hello. I wish you a Merry Christmas if you are watching today's last video of our Advent Calendar series. I wish you beautiful holidays. Enjoy the time with your family, friends and animals. For today's video, I have thought I do a topic that is not a specific Christmas theme, but you can use it for good wishes for the coming next year. I have thought I draw a lucky clover. I teach you that here. I show you that how to draw it. It is also a mini motivation lesson inside my online drawing school Animal Art Club. If you are interested in Animal Art Club, you find here a link to join the waitlist. We will open the doors soon. I teach there how to draw realistic animal portraits, and these mini motivation lessons like the lucky clover are also fun to do. They keep you motivated and you have a quick result. Let's draw this lucky clover here today. I wish you all the best for next year. Have good luck and for sure also healthiness, and just enjoy your time and have the best year ever. Okay, let's draw now the lucky clover. Welcome in this mini motivation lesson. I have thought we will draw here for the beginning of the new year a clover leaf. So it's a 4-leaf clover. It should be bring luck, so I think that's really a nice topic for this mini motivation lesson. So let's start. I have chosen different greens. So I have here 170, the May green. Then I have 186, the earth green yellowish. Then 165, the juniper green, and the middle green 167, the permanent green olive. Then I have chosen a yellow 102 cream and a little bit of black 199 black. Then let's start. I will choose here the 167, the permanent green olive, and then let's do the sketch of our clover here. So let's draw the outlines. So I mark here where the clover leaf should be, so how large it is. And then let's draw here the outlines. So here is the middle part. I draw some points here. And then let's draw here this leaf till here. Just sketch in the outlines freehand. It's fun to do and it's great to practice your eyes from time to time. And just, yes, draw your sketch, draw your outlines here freehand. Sketching in here the outlines of these clover leaves. Then here we have a third leaf. It's going here downwards to the center. Then here we have the stem. I also draw it here. You can use a knittable eraser to remove your lines if you have to correct something. So let's make sure that you see all in the camera. So use the knittable eraser to correct here a little bit the stem. So just sketch in here the outlines here, this little stem, and this lower leaf is a little bit smaller. So I draw it until here. Here it is overlapping a little bit the right leaf.
Okay, and then we have here middle strokes on each leaf. Let's also sketch this in. We can darken down then these middle lines later. Yes, and all other details let's do then when we are plotting in the base layer and building up layers and structure of the clover leaf. Okay, so for the first layer we can also use 167, the permanent green olive, and just plot in here the green on the upper part of the leaves. So in the middle it can be a darker green, and we also have then these lighter highlights. So I just bring here these 167 permanent green olive here a little bit. It's a darker leaf green, I would say. Plot it in here as the base layer, just on always on the upper edges of the leaves. Then let's use a light green like 170, the May green. And here we have such a lighter line in the middle. Let's sketch this in with a light green like the May green. On each leaf of the clover we have here these lighter lines here. Bring them in, and in the middle it's darker, so let's use here 165, the juniper green for the base layer here in the lower part of the leaf where the leaves are growing out here in the middle, in the center. Plotting in here the dark green. We can also draw over this middle line here a little bit. And plot in here everywhere the dark green for the base layer. Here too. Also here in the middle, let's draw this middle line here darker, and also plot in a little bit of the juniper green in the middle here around this line. Then let's use a paper stamp and blend this first base layer. So I go over these leaves here and blend the greens together. So let's create here a smooth base layer, a smooth underpainting, so that it's not gritty. Blend the base layer here well. Here to go over the greens, mix them. Be careful that you don't mix too much dark green over the light green, but blend the first layer really well. Okay, then let's bring in details. So I would say let's use then a sharp black and add some black lines. Let's go in with a darker color. I choose the black. If you have a very, very dark green, then of course you can use it too. So let's draw in here black lines here above. We can draw here so fine little veins, these leaf veins, so little strokes towards the right upwards, and also towards the left side here, bringing in so very, very thin lines with very low pressure. Also the left lower side of this leaf here I darken down with the black. Also here. Then bring in a black middle line here again on the left leaf, and draw some lines upwards into the green, also a bit to the left downwards. The same let's do here, drawing over the line, and then some horizontal lines that are a bit darker. We can then blend the black with, for example, a green, and create it a little bit more greenish if it is too dark. And then let's draw here another line. And some lines here upwards, so little leaf veins. All these little strokes, and some of the strokes here downwards. Also along the stem we can bring in a little bit of a darker color. Then let's use the light green 170 and draw here over this light green stripe. Draw some lines over it. I draw lines towards the middle part, and then also bring the lines here over the green base layer. Very fine, thin lines. So here really try to draw very thin green lines. Use so less pressure you can. Okay, and then also do the same here on the left side. Draw so fine green lines upwards and also downwards. Here. Also over the darker part we can go with some light green lines here. And here they are also going here downwards to the right. And here to the left. And bringing these lines that are here going downwards on the leaf. And here the same. Draw along the outline a bit with the light gray. Here we have a very green edge. Also here on this part, draw along with the green. We need a little bit more contrast than in our leaf. So I use a bit of the 68, the earth green yellowish, and go over these green parts once more and bring in a middle green. Also let's draw along the edges so that we have here nice leaf edges here, bringing in a bit of green. Also here create here the edges, and then bring the lighter green into the leaf here. So here we can also use 168 earth green yellowish a bit and add another layer of green. Your gray paper color should not show through, so draw these layers opaque so that you have enough pigment on your drawing surface. Then let's darken down the clover leaves. 165, the juniper green, and let's go in here once more and darken down our leaves. I draw between the light lines here, darker lines. Also here, bringing in some darker color between the lighter lines. Darken this lower part of the leaves down. Also this part of the right leaf can be darker. I go over it once more here with the juniper green and plot in a little bit more of the green pigment here. I want to darken this down a little bit and draw along the edges. Here we can also use the black and darken some areas down, like here on the right side of this overlapping leaf. We can make it a little bit darker, bringing in a bit of the black, and also draw black lines in here and also upwards here. And yes, draw along the edges. Here we can also bring in a bit of contrast, bringing in more black here in the middle. Here between I also add some black lines. Going over here and darkening this part down. Also along this stem, bringing in a little bit of the black. Then let's blend this a bit with the paper stamp. Here we can also add a little bit of shadow below this overlapping leaf here, create this lower part here darker, and use the paper stamp. Then let's go in a bit with the 102, the cream. It's a little bit a yellowish color, a vanilla yellow, and draw over this light green line here. So I bring in here some small lines, a little bit of a structure. Also let's draw a line over the stem here, and here over this light green line. Here it disappeared. Let's bring in once more this very light green line here. Right, move the pencil so upwards and downwards, and just bring in here a little bit of the yellow pigment. So in zigzag, and then also bring in again these light green lines. We can use here the yellow and just brighten up here some parts on the leaf. And then on this one here too, they can be a little bit curvy. Make a small curve here. And here to the left, add another layer and use very low pressure for this, really very low pressure. And here the same, draw some light yellow lines. Okay, we can use the craft knife a bit and scratch also in here some lines, or just blend these layers, or just bring in some strokes here between. We can also scratch over the edges that we have here, straight edges. Then let's go in once more with 170 here between the yellow lines and brighten up this part of the leaves here above. Or draw over the stem. Then I use a very sharp juniper green, a very, very sharp one. So I'm going to sharpen the 165. And then let's draw along the edges. So let's draw here along the leaf edges with very low pressure. I just try here to create here sharp edges with a very straight line, and then I blend this line a little bit into the leaf and some darker lines that are very, very thin. Here this leaf can a little bit broader, so I go over this part and color it a little bit more with the green, and also bring some green strokes upwards. So just draw more layers. Let this green also cross this lighter stripe here. And here I also go over the edges with very low pressure and draw a thin layer with some green lines here upwards. The same let's do here below. Let's correct the shape of this leaf a bit and draw over the edges for several times. Also here below, move the pencil forwards and backwards a bit, or I go over this darker section here in the middle of this leaf below, and here on the left side. This is a little bit lighter, not so dark like this one on the right. Here below we can also bring in some darker lines on the lower part of the clover leaf here. Bringing in a little bit of the darker green and blend the layers. Okay, here it's the same. Going over the edges here a bit and make them a little bit straighter. And what we also can do to bring in a little bit of a shadow below this clover. So here, let's plot in a little bit of a green, and also here below, just bringing in a little bit of color on the ground where our leaf here is laying. We can do this with black a bit, so darken it down a bit here with black, where and really near the leaf here, make it darker. And here we have such a soft shadow. Then let's use the paper stamp and blend this shadow, blend it here into the background paper. So let it fade into the gray. Blend it very gently. Here it's the same. I go over the edges so that we have here nice edges of the leaf, and then blend this shadow pigment, this green and black here to the right. Then you can create here contrast, and your clover leaf here is popping up a bit, and you get this 3D effect. Okay, let's also use a sharp black again and bring in a little bit more contrast into this clover leaf. So I'm going to sharpen the black once more. This 4-leaf clover, it's a lucky clover. It should bring luck for you in the new year. So let's go over this middle line once more with the sharp black. Just want to create a little bit contrast here, drawing over this line, or also along the left side of the stem a bit here, just to draw along these darker lines to make them a little bit darker. I also draw along this edge of the leaf here a bit with the black and darken it down. or bring in a bit more shadow here below that edge, just that it is popping up a little bit more. I move the black upwards and downwards here and bring in a bit more shadow color here. Always move your pencil and use very low pressure. Here it can be a little bit darker. Here it also can be a little bit darker. I move the black upwards here a bit. And so you can play around and bring in again different greens and darker colors. Let's go in with 170 a bit once more here and bring in light green over these light green stripes here once more, or plotting in here once more a bit of the light green, and also here on the left. I draw so little lines in light green over this leaf part here. And here it's the darker leaf, just bring in some green lines that are a little bit more far away and draw them here towards the edges. Okay, here we can draw once more over with the green here. Brighten this part of the leaf up. We can also draw some dots, so I see on the reference photo here and there, so lighter dots. Let's bring them in too here, or some detail strokes again on these light green stripes here. Okay, great. Perhaps I blend once more these little shadow parts here, or bring in here a bit more shadow, or blend over the edges of the clover leaf here. Always bring a bit of shadow here on the right side. Okay, great. Yes, I think that's nice so far. So I will stop drawing this little clover here. I hope you have enjoyed this little mini motivation lesson, and I hope this clover brings luck to you for the new year. I wish you lots of fun doing this. Show us your leaves, your clover leaves then in the community. I'm looking forward to them.
Okay, so this was the last session of our advent calendar here. I hope you enjoyed drawing the lucky clover. I wish you all the best for next year, and you can also use it for your own greeting cards. I invite you to join the waitlist to Animal Art Club here if you're interested in my online drawing school. Here is another video that might be interested for you, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have planned a lot of interesting content for you for next year, so come back and see my videos I make for you next year. That will be fun. I will make videos about drawing animals and also landscapes and some fun topics. Okay, so I wish you all the best and hope I see you back soon. Bye!